O God, to be ever mindful of the beauties around us. May we grow with our flowers in gentleness, patience, courage, laughter, and religion. As we turn the brown soil and plant our seed, may we learn faith in the goodness of the earth, the clemency of the sun, and the fullness of the clouds. May we be ever grateful for the privilege of being co-workers with God in the creation of even one tiny flower. Grant that we may know the great joy that comes with sharing with others. Amen. I give my pledge as an American to save and faithfully defend from waste the natural resources of my country, its air, soil, and minerals, and forest, water, and wildlife. Thank you, everyone.
I was invited to a garden club meeting, and it was in a beautiful home, Lavelle McDowell, and that was the elite of society. There was a fantastic table spread, people were wearing hats and gloves, and that was, oh wow, I made it. But I didn't become involved in garden club until years later. My husband was on council, and I was active in city things. And through that time, with the different events that we had, Garden Club was always there. They would have floats in the parades. They would participate in the major garbage pickup days. We had the garage sale. They participated in everything and were very visible and supportive.
As the bicentennial came up in 1976, the mayor asked Faye Dudney to come up with a project that could be the city's bicentennial project and perhaps involve the community. Well, Faye jumped at the opportunity to make the bandstand the focus of that project, and that we would get it built, we would pay for it, and then we would celebrate it. That was our goal. It occurred to me to involve all of the civic groups, community groups, schools, PTAs, all of the groups in League City, and ask them to fundraise, each one in its own way, and contribute to the bandstand. Faye Dudney, God bless her, had secured the permission from Tommy Bishop, his associates, and their students to build the bandstand as their school project in 1976. And that's how the program evolved. I developed a talk so that Garden Club members could visit the JCs, the Optimists, the Lions Club, noon in the evening, the Lioness Club, all of the clubs in League City. Diane Hungerford took on the PTAs. Joan Pugh, I think, took on some of the schools that did not have PTAs. And all of those groups became so excited about building the bandstand and being part of it that we were collecting money from everybody. So we were really fortunate that the whole community was brought together with this project. So I've always thought that the bandstand belongs to everyone in League City because everyone contributed in one way or another.
So the state was going to come in and widen 518 from the 4 lanes, but they would have to remove trees. And the Garden Club very politely said, no thank you, these trees are a part of our heritage. And I think they got the hint that it was not going to be an easy job. And from then on, the state never talked about widening 518, at least in this part of town where the trees are.
I learned how to trim roses because I didn't have a clue at the time. Jan Kennedy led the group, and we would go over to Walter Hall Park and trim the roses once a year. And she said, well, anybody who wants to take some of the trimmings can take them. So I brought one of the trimmings, and she said it was called the Duchess de Brabant. And I planted it in my backyard, and it has absolutely beautiful pink blooms on it. And it blooms almost year-round. When we did the plant sales, we grew a lot of the plants ourselves and took those to the plant sale and sat out there all day and interacted with the community and had just a lot of fun and answered a lot of questions about plants, and that was a real fun thing that the Garden Club did, and it was good for the community.
I have always wanted to do a garden tour. I decided when I became president to start a garden tour. And I'm really proud that the Garden Club is still doing it, and it's traditional because all the cities neighboring us, a lot of them do garden tours every year. And I thought that was wonderful. And League City has so many beautiful yards, beautiful houses, beautiful people that's willing to volunteer. And that's how we started. I had the idea, but Manon Paul and her husband did most of the work in organizing to make the garden tour really beautiful.
I've been in Garden Club for about 10 years, and the first year, I have to mention that I did some drawing. I've been drawing since high school, and I started in a watercolor class. So they said, "Hey, why not do some drawings for us on our walks on gardens and places that we would see?" And so I started in, but they said, "Do something on the houses that are just a little unique."
Leslie and I are here at the beautiful Girardi Water Smart Park thinking about the upcoming garden walk. And our garden walk, we like to feature residential areas throughout the League City area. We have so many to choose from, with neighborhoods having golf courses around the waterfront. We have nature areas. And then we even have our historic downtown area of League City. When we think about the garden walk, we like to talk to the Parks and Recreation Department, where we can decide what public areas we'd like to feature on the upcoming garden walk. Sometimes it's going to be a park throughout the city, or maybe it will be one of the special nature areas like the Dick Benoit Prairie Preserve on the east side of League City. We like to feature all of the areas of League City throughout our mini garden walks, and we also like to feature all of the different neighborhoods throughout the city.
We also partner with some really big outfits like the Texas Master Naturalists, the City of League City Parks Department, Master Gardeners, and they are a very valuable asset for us. And it's wonderful for people in League City who don't know much about League City to come out and just meet each other and be in a beautiful place and connect.
Hello, I'm Greg Rapon with Lynn's Landscaping.
I'm Justin Rapon, owner of Rapon Gardens.
We are both recipients of the League City Garden Club Scholarship Program. Justin and I, both being recipients, have benefited from the League City Garden Club.
Upon graduating from high school in 2010, I was a recipient of the Garden Club Scholarship Award. The better fit was right here in my own hometown, League City, where I was able to put that money to good work. It gave me great knowledge in college, and then I came back to League City and opened up my own business alongside my father, now being the sole owner of Rapon Gardens.
One of my first big jobs after college here with Lynn's Landscaping was the Helen Gardens project. Jan Kennedy came to me and Mr. Hall both and asked me to help them put together what is now called Helen's Gardens. So what they asked me to do was actually design the layout of the gardens, from walkways to fountains to the center area where the clock is, and also where Mr. Hall and Mrs. Hall thus are at.
when I first walked into Garden Club, I knew it was a place I wanted to be, and I was fascinated with their Yard of the Month program. And each month they picked a Yard of the Month by driving around and looking, and I became a part of this. Choosing was the first thing you had to do, and you had to convince the people that they needed to be Yard of the Month. Sometimes you look at the front yard, it's very formal. You can't judge a book by its cover. And in the backyard, the people have really expressed their personalities. Once we chose it, I picked a time to take photos, and that was the most fun part. We got to go to all these mini paradises. There was one once that had beds, flower beds, literally. They had a footboard and a headboard made of iron metal, and then they planted flowers in it like a huge living quilt. I tried to update the program a little bit and bring in some innovations. I gave frames and photos and certificates and thanked them for letting us leave a sign, which we did in the front yard. It looked like a for sale sign, except it said Yard of the Month, League City Garden Club. Then I created a scrapbook, and I tried to have it reflect the beauty and the creativity of each particular yard. And I wrote a description, which I sent into the League City magazine every month that was printed, and people could then drive around and see what that particular yard looked like. So as a non-Texan, I got to know League City in the best way possible by driving around and by sharing the yards with other people. I got to see what the plants were in the area, particularly the subtropical plants, which I wasn't used to. And I found the yards were like snowflakes. How could that be? They were all different. Everybody's reflected their own love of different kinds of plants. No two were alike, but each one was beautiful in its own way.